Are there growth opportunities in the stock market? You betcha. These are the best growth stocks to buy now for June 2022. But to get started, you know I like to look at data. Let's look at the overview of the market. Last time I filmed a video, markets were oversold. Couldn't believe it. We have not seen that since the pandemic lows. Now we can see that the big money index is actually starting to rally. Yes, stocks are actually getting bought. We're going to be looking at a number of those today. And look, here's what's under the surface of the big money index. You can see a lot of that sell pressure that we saw in May. It has evaporated. We're starting to see buyers pick up. That is overwhelmingly bullish near term. Okay, so we know that the big money is starting to move back into stocks, right? Because we were so oversold. Now let's look at what sectors are supposed to be growing the most from their earnings, right? Because that is what matters. Stocks follow earnings. So I'm over here, I'm at FactSet, and we're looking at the EPS estimates for Q2 22, okay? Where do you think most of the growth is supposed to be? It's in energy. Look at that. Off the charts, that's where a lot of the earnings are going right now. When you're looking for growth stocks, it doesn't necessarily have to be tech. It can be some of these other industries that are poised to grow. Also, you can see material stock. They're expected to actually grow their earnings as well. Now, if we look at the bottom of the barrel, who is supposed to not earn as much? It's consumer discretionary and communication services. All right, so we know that the data is starting to get a little bit more constructive for stocks that is near-term bullish. We're going to be looking at some names that are actually getting gobbled up by the big money. But more importantly, when we're looking for growth stocks, we're looking for companies that are expected to grow their earnings in the future. That's what growth is all about. So we're going to be getting into some energy stocks. There's even going to be a material stock, and there's going to be a technology stock. Let me go ahead and ask you to please like and subscribe to our YouTube channel if you enjoy this unique content. Let's get into the stocks right now. For the number one growth stock, we're going to be looking at an energy company. This is Pioneer Natural Resources. The ticker is PXD. Now, why is it a growth stock? It's a growth stock because their earnings are expected to keep growing. That is the hallmark that you want with a growth name. Pioneer Natural Resources, remember that chart that I showed you earlier where there was buying starting to take place in the market? Well, Pioneer is one of those stocks. Like these are these institutional buy signals that we are trying to track in our data. So every single green signal that you see here, that means that the share price was going up and the volumes were increasing. That's indicative of big money moving into the shares. Now, how do we know that it is a quality stock, right? Because we know some stocks go up, they're not really worth much. They're not fundamental great stocks. Well, we have this blue bar right here that tells us that this stock has great fundamentals. And let's just do a quick little checklist on PXD. Remember, none of this is personalized advice. You need to be doing your own research, but check out some of these numbers. 1 year sales growth for PXD is 154%. I don't think anybody's surprised by that, right? Energy prices, oil and gas, they're all higher. So that means they're going to be making more money. Profit margin is 11.8%. Their forward PE is 8.8. Another cool thing that PXD does is they have this variable dividend. So they are spinning out a lot of cash flow to shareholders. So anytime you're invested in a stock and they are focusing on rewarding shareholders, it is a good thing. Let's look at the technicals over here. See a lot of good, right? We like the green. And one thing that's really sticking out to me is the stock is well above its 50, 100, and 200-day moving averages. I think this is a growth stock that should be on your radar. The number two growth stock, we're going to also be looking at another energy stock. Now, this is going to have a global footprint. We're going to be talking about ConocoPhillips. The ticker is COP. The stock price is right around $123. You know, you need to go fill up gas. Chances are you might be going to a ConocoPhillips. But look, here's the story of the big money. Holy moly. Look at all of the green that continues to pour into this stock. So look, energy stocks, this is basically the biggest bull market that we have in the market right now. I know it's not sexy, but with high inflation, it makes a lot of sense. We see that the big money picture is very positive on this stock. More importantly, we know that this tends to be a high quality kind of company. Why? Because it is on our top 20 report. That means it's one of the stocks that were the highest ranked 4 times. Let's look at some of these fundamentals. Check this out. The 3-year sales growth is 30%, profit margin 17.5%, forward PE is 8.4, which is relatively cheap in this market. They also have that variable dividend, just like PXD, the other company I was talking about. So they're very shareholder friendly. As they make more and more profits, they're sharing it with their shareholders. I like that. And then for the technicals, it is green across the board. I do think the stock is a little bit extended because it's up 70% year to date, but on a pullback, I think this is a quality energy company. And you know what? It's poised to grow in the near term. For the number 3 stock that is expected to grow, I'm looking at Archer-Daniels-Midland Company, ticker ADM. Stock price is right around $90. Very easy to understand company, right? They are a commodity player. They process oil seeds, corn, wheat, animal proteins, you name it. So if you're at the store, you're like, wow, prices keep rising, food prices, they are just out of control. Well, Archer-Daniels actually is going to benefit in that type of environment. And you know what? The big money also believes that, because that has been one of the biggest names that have been getting bought recently, right? Look at all of these green signals. That's the stairway to heaven. You don't want to fight that trend. We can come over here and know that it is a quality stock, right? Because it's been one of the highest ranked names multiple times this year. And let's see why. Fundamentals need to check out. You can see that the 3-year sales growth rate is just about 11%. That is very strong. It's got a forward PE of 14.4. It also packs a 1.8% dividend yield. I'll take it. And then if we look at the technicals, it's up 32% year to date, right? Stock market is down. This is one name that continues to outperform. I would say that it does have a 52-week stochastic of 78%. So that's also just showing the strength of this stock over the short term. So what's another growth area that we can look at? And that is the pharmaceutical space, healthcare space. We're looking at Vertex Pharmaceuticals. Ticker is VRTX. Stock price is right around $272. So what does this company do? Well, they make a lot of medicines for diseases. So they've got stuff for diabetes, sickle cell anemia, muscular dystrophy, you name it. Now, let's just go ahead and look at the big money picture. You can see tons and tons of buying has been happening in this stock recently. And also, I've got this chart zoomed out. Look at this. Since 2018, this stock has been on our top 20 list. It looks like over a dozen times. That tells us it is a quality name, and I think it's worthy of being on our radar. So what are some of the fundamentals that are sticking out to this name? Why is it ranking so high? Well, 1-year sales growth is 22%. They are expected to grow their EPS 7.9% this year. That is awesome. It's got a profit margin of right about 31%. And their forward PE is just over 19. That is not that bad for a company that is getting this much big money love. On the technical side, there are a lot of green things to point to. And I would say that the stock is up 7.1% in 1 month, and year to date, it's up 24%. That is a stock that is poised to do well over the near term. Last but not least, I think we should be looking in the tech space for a growth opportunity. We're going to be looking at Meta Platforms. The ticker is FB. It is soon to be changed to META. So probably by the time this video goes out, that is going to be the ticker. Previous close is right around $196. We all know Facebook, right? They've got Instagram, they've got all kinds of cool things. They've got the Oculus, they've got Facebook, they've got WhatsApp. You know it, Mark Zuckerberg, he's been around a while and he continues to just do very good things with this company. Now, this stock is not going up with big money, and recently it has been going down, right? Lots of money has been pouring out of the stock because everybody's worried about inflation. They're worried about growth concerns of tech stocks. But I do want to show you something. This is one of the stocks that is going to be bucking the trend for this video. Let's just take away the buy signals and then just look at those sell signals over the past few years. Usually, not always, whenever the stocks are getting sold, they tend to be great buy opportunities over the near term. So we'll see if that is the case with Facebook. But you guys know I'm more longer term oriented. And we can see that this stock has been on our top 20 list so many times. That makes it an outlier. That is just a lot of big money juice going into this name. And why would people be attracted to Facebook? Well, it's because they have a history of making a lot of money for their investors. So let's look at some of these fundamentals. The 1-year sales growth, 37%. 3-year sales growth, 28%. I think what really tipped me off and why I included this stock in this video particularly is they are expected to grow their EPS just under 20% this year. And whenever you couple that with a forward PE of just under 17, the stock looks cheap on that metrics alone. Wow. Now let's go ahead and look at the technicals. It's a lot of red, right? We know that tech stocks have just felt the brunt of the market pullback this year. And two things that are pointing out to me is the stock is well below its 50-day, 100-day, and 200-day moving average. And it's down 42% year to date. So value hunters, this is a name that I think probably is going to be higher at some point in the future. Those are my growth opportunities for the month of June. Remember, none of this is personalized advice of any kind. We're just trying to show you how data can really inform your investing. And remember, when it comes to growth stocks, it doesn't always have to be tech or high growth. It really just needs to be focused around companies that are expected to grow their earnings over the near term or over the long term. You guys hang in there. Don't give up. Always think long term, and I will see you next time.